Welcome back, everybody. So glad you could be with me here today. Walter at the workbench. So, in the previous video, I mentioned that I ground the chisels to 25, 30, and 35 degrees to do a pairing test. I then proceeded to hone and polish them. And that brings up a good topic, and that is, how pristine does your edge need to be? Well, that all depends. Once you make a cut with whether it's a chisel, a plane, or a knife, it's going to leave scratches on the wood. How fine those scratches are depends on if you have another operation you're going to do, or if you're going to be sanding or buffing. Those scratches will telegraph through to the surface of the wood, whether it be flat surface, edge surface, end grain, okay? So that's why a lot of time carvers spend hours making sure their chisels are pristine so that when they make a cut, that surface is burnished and polished and ready for finishing. No sanding afterwards. So I already know, I'm just doing this test to sort of verify what I know, but I already know that the lower the angle, the easier a tool is going to cut. All right? The steeper the angle, the more blunt, the more resistance you're going to have. Now, depending on the operation, if you're pairing end grain, that's one thing. If you're pairing flat grain, that's something totally different. If you're doing some combination of the two, once again, that's different again. It's also just like planing, the resistance will also be affected by the thickness of the shaving or the waste removal. So let's get into it. 25 degrees. And let's see. We'll go down on this corner here, which is where the heartwood is, and we'll come in about 1/8 of an inch. And we're just going to pare straight down on that end grain. And it slices through that like butter and leaves a polished surface. We can go a little further. Okay? And that's a fairly heavy cut. So that's the 25. If we go to the 30 on a similar type face over here, I don't really notice a lot of difference. Here too, a fairly substantial cut. Seemed just a little bit harder to push. Now, this is the 35, and I'm going to go back over this one, and we're going to just take the corner off here. Let's try this one. A little thicker. Here too, fairly substantial cut. It took a little bit extra force. And then what about What about flat grain? So if I come down on this bevel down and I'm paring flat grain, it's going to act like a hand plane. If I go on a corner, mind you, this is the 35 degree. Now I'm getting a little bit of resistance. 30 degree. Less resistance. 25 degree. Almost no resistance. And if I go bevel down, it's like a hot knife through butter. That just pretty much confirms my suspicions. And I guess it would also depend on the woods you're working. But 25 degrees is still a good primary bevel. I wouldn't change that. I'd stay with my 25 degree primary. And then if you're working in hardwood, I put a secondary on it. See, the other thing that changes too, I don't know if you can see it on camera. How can I show you this? All right, 25 degree on the flat surface, bevel down. If I bring that up until it begins to cut, that's where I am. If I go to 30 degrees and bring it up till it begins to cut, I'm higher. And then 35 degrees, I'm higher again. So, depending on the task at hand, you may be more comfortable with one angle or the other. But definitely, '25 always wins. Like, subscribe, and share. I hope you got something out of this video. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them down in the comment section. I look forward to reading those. And head out to your workshop. See where your angles are. And sharpen, sharpen, sharpen. Walter out.